Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. On my last video, I asked everyone to leave me a question down in the comments, and my whole next video was going to be dedicated to answering those questions. But before we do get into those questions and the guidelines around it, hey, for Australia yesterday, it was the grand final in our AFL, our Australian Football League, and what a grand final it was. If you're from America, it's similar to your Super Bowl. If you're from Europe or the UK, it's similar to maybe something like the Champions League final in the UEFA League. It's the creme de la creme. And geez, what a game it was. Over 100,000 people at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. What a game. It could have gone any way. I think arguably the better team on the day won. I watched every minute of it with my mates, and what a game it was. But back on topic. Questions. I was surprised though just how many different people ask questions. So, thanks heaps for dropping me a question. I was surprised how many people watch from America and Europe, and someone even from Wales was bagging out the Australian rugby team. So that's all good. A few bouncers coming our way. So thanks everyone for dropping the questions. I don't think I'm going to be able to answer them all in one video. So I'm going to call this part one. I don't know if I'm going to be able to answer them all in part two even, so it might roll into a three-part questionnaire, so to speak. But some interesting questions, some difficult ones, and maybe some easy ones. But I'm going to start off with a fun one. And someone just asked me, what were your top 5 Wizards of the Coast Pokemon cards? So something a bit fun before we get into the investing side of it. Now, these are in no particular order, but these were my top 5 Wizards of the Coast Pokemon cards. First one being Jungle Holo Cypher, and again, in no particular order. Reason for that is my whole deck when I was growing up versing my mates was based around Cypher. So I didn't even have sleeved Holo Cyphers in my deck. They were just getting scratched to buggery. So Holo, Jungle, first edition Cypher is up there as one of the 5. Second one, because I pulled it out of a pack, was Dark Charizard Holo. I love base set Charizard, it's iconic, but I like the look of the Rocket Holos and that sort of dark, eerie vibe to them, especially the Charizard there. So that's the second one. Third one is the Rookie Dragonite. Again, I pulled this when I was younger, and I just loved the colours in it. It was almost like the most colourful holo. Like it had that rainbow effect in the background, which I thought was really, really cool. Fourth one was Shining Gyarados. Again, I pulled this from a pack, and man, this card just went off. This has some fantastic artwork. It almost feels like that Gyarados could have been made into like a Sword and Shield alt art, like the way it's sort of positioned, and almost like that Lugia from Silver Tempest. Just brilliant artwork on that card, and such a nice looking card. And the fifth one for me was a top chase, and I just never happened to pull it, was Shining Charizard. I wish I had it. I just dreamed of getting it, so I guess you could put that as my fifth. And again, they were in no particular order, but they are my top 5 Wizards of the Coast Pokemon cards. Into our first questions. I tried to answer every question, but if they were like-minded or similar questions, I sort of grouped them into one question and So first question that come up was, why will people buy modern sealed Pokemon cards? Now, for me, this is a pretty simple answer. It's the same reason that maybe people now are buying vintage Pokemon card packs, or people in their mid-20s are buying black and white Pokemon packs when they opened them when they were 12 years old. There's a lot of reasons. One, it could be streamers could be opening them online. 2, a lot of people just place a huge emphasis on having a sealed collection. So having them as part of the sealed collection is really important for some people. And 3, it's probably that reason of reliving nostalgia. Like a lot of people just want to take that trip down memory lane. And I did a video on this, just all about nostalgia. And you can't really put a price on nostalgia and how it makes you feel. Like it can just take you back to this time when things were easier and simpler and less stressful. Maybe you want to relive a moment with your kids if you've got some. So I think there's lots of reasons why people will buy modern sealed. It's also the most popular era ever. So if something's popular new, it's going to be popular secondhand, we say in the car world. So I can see these being wanting to be open for years and decades to come, which means there's going to be some demand for them, which means people are going to buy them. So that's why I think people want to buy modern sealed. Well, next question. What's the best value buy as a sealed product? I don't know whether that question really means what's going to see the most percentage gain, as in if you buy a triple pack blister for 20 Australian dollars, or I'm sure they're probably like $12.99 in the US, and we see that in 3 years' time move to $36 US, so it's tripled its value, compared to buying a booster box for 100 US and it only moving to 200 US in 3 years' time. I don't know whether that's what's meant by the question. It probably is something along that line. So, I mean, you could do a whole analysis on this. You could break down, and I did it for Evolving Skies actually. So there's a video here solely based on Evolving Skies and every product you can buy, from a single blister pack to a check lane blister pack with a promo inside it, to a 3-pack blister pack, to a build and battle kit, to the what are those little promo packs where you get the big energy pack and a promo and a couple of boosters inside there. Build and battle stadium. Anyway, right through from Elite Trainer Box, Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box through to Booster Box, and we worked out the percentage gains that Evolving Skies products have had over that time. And it was clear that the winner was a booster box. But what was funny is second behind it, believe it or not, was the 3-pack blister with Umbreon sitting inside it. So I guess if you answer that question, what's the best value buy from a sealed product? I think you can't go wrong with booster box, but also the triple pack blisters with a good promo inside it is always going to be a strong achiever that also gives you a good entry price point into the hobby. Like Evolving Skies, 3-pack blister with an Umbreon Holo promo inside it. Like, that's just a no-brainer from a product choice perspective. It's probably always going to be a home run, that. I can remember going over and they're like, to the local gaming store to buy some, and they're like, do you want the Umbreon promo or the other one? I'm like, no, just give me all the Umbreon promos. That's what I want. Next question. Where do you buy the cheapest, newest or new sealed product in Australia? Now, this is an interesting one because I gave my supplier a call just recently. I said, mate, I need some more Japanese 151 booster boxes. What are we talking? And he goes, mate, I'm buying them direct from Japan at the moment, and with the way import taxes are into Australia, I can't get them for any less than 248 Australian dollars, which I suppose if you translate that to US, it's probably somewhere around 150 US. So right now, he cannot buy them, and we're talking, of course, sealed cardboard and sealed wrapping around the box. So a proper sealed Japanese 151 booster box, direct from Japan, including import taxes into Australia. It's $248 landed. Now, in comparison to that, I can still hop on eBay and buy a booster box of 151 with a discount. You know how you can apply those discount codes on eBay. I don't know whether they build up over time or what the go is with them, but you can still pick one up for 240 Australian, so cheaper than what he can buy them landed to his store. And then of course he can't sell them to me for 248. He'd have to make a little bit of margin. He said, look, I can pass them on at 260 to you. I'll be making $12 a box. I said, oh look, we'll see how things go. We might get back in touch in a month or two, or early next year if there's a possible reprint for Japanese 151. So but anyway, at the moment, sort of 240 Australian is the cheapest you can pick them up. So to answer that question, cheapest new sealed in Australia, you probably need to get in touch with some sort of supplier or build a relationship with a local gaming store, or alternatively, scour eBay and other online stores for specials. All you got to do is just work out the best time in the market to buy the product that you want, and then scour the stores for the best deal for that product at that time. That is essentially the most basic answer. If you can buy it the cheapest you can possibly buy it, well, that's only a good thing. Next question. Someone asked about tins. How will they perform? How will they perform short term and long term? There's certainly some good tins and some bad tins. Over time, tins have actually done okay, but for the short term, I don't really see them growing all that much. Whether you're talking like tins from Evolving Skies or Hidden Fates tins or even ultra modern tins, it seems to be once they get vintage, they seem to gain some value. Now, you'd really want to be getting the full sealed tins, like Hidden Fates, for argument's sake. The first print run of tins was fully wrapped, and the second print run of tins just had a single wrap around it. So it didn't wrap the top and bottom part of the tin, which would be quite, I suppose, frustrating if you're going to buy one, because you don't really know whether that's possibly been tampered with or not. Whereas if you've got the full seal around the tin, it's a bit safer essentially. You've got some insurance there to know that it's not going to be tampered with. Long term, I think they'll do good if they're from a good set. We see a lot of those EX series tins go for big dollars. It gives you some peace of mind that what's inside it, properly sealed, should not be tampered with, which is really important compared to buying a single booster packs, which A, could have been weighed, or B, could have been resealed. So it gives you that insurance around it. So long term, they're going to perform better. Like 4 booster packs inside a tin will perform better than 4 individual booster packs. That's probably the best way to answer that question. Next one, Wizards of the Coast. Someone was asking, why are Wizards of the Coast singles going down? Do you continue to see them going down? Will they shoot back up? I also did a video on this, that everything has a limited sort of need in the market, so to speak, as a collectible. Now, there's things that'll always go up, like first gen Spider-Man comic, first gen or first edition base set Charizard, Illustrator Pikachu. These are the grails of an era. But general run-of-the-mill Wizards of the Coast holos, they've obviously come off a massive, massive high around the COVID era, where everything shot up in price massively and was arguably inflated strongly. We've seen the same in the car industry, with secondhand cars have been massively inflated and they're coming back down to earth. Same thing, like it's a bit of a market correction, I suppose, in my mind, for Wizards of the Coast singles. Will they continue to go down? I think that they'll find some level of equilibrium pretty soon, I would have thought. In terms of them going down, I do think they have a bit of a shelf life. Like eventually some of them will go out of touch. And I'm not talking anytime soon, but in 50 years' time, is a base set Jungle, Holo, Cypher or Vaporeon still going to be worth money? Will everyone be up to like Gen 14? Gen 14 Pokemon, 16 Pokemon and loving those. So everything's got a little bit of a shelf life, I think. Next question. Would you invest heavily if you had limited money? No, is the short answer to that one. I wouldn't be parking, if I had limited money and maybe I was living paycheck to paycheck with a couple of $100 spare, I wouldn't be investing into Pokemon. I think, Pokemon is a hobby, and you really need to build yourself quite possibly into a financial position where you can start having some fun with the game and testing the waters and seeing what grows and what doesn't grow. If you still want to be part of the Pokemon community, by all means do it, but maybe buy in at some better entry point prices, like check lane blisters or triple pack blisters. Like, that's actually not a bad collection at all. Imagine if every new set that come out, you got the 3-pack blister with the promo. $20 in Australia, $12.99 in the US. That's the sort of thing you should be buying if you have limited money. You still get the fun of getting this sweet collection, because that's actually a cool collection. Imagine having every single, from Sun and Moon base through to Sword and Shield base, through to Silver Tempest, Crown Zenith, through to Scarlet and Violet now, having every single 3-pack blister. Even if you had them parked on your shelf or hung up, like, that would be a really cool display piece. So I don't suggest parking all your money into Pokemon if you don't have heaps, because it's a bit of a risk. So that's sort of my answer to that one. Ooh, next one. Someone asked about Pokemon 151 versus Crown Zenith and the future singles pricing. If it's Japanese 151 you're talking about, I'm so bullish on that set. I think it's phenomenal. It's some of the best artwork we've seen in such a long time, and the print quality is brilliant. The Master Ball holos are brilliant. The artwork's brilliant. The nostalgia's brilliant. Crown Zenith, beautiful, beautiful set. Here's how I'd order it. Japanese 151, Crown Zenith, English 151. That's my take on it. So if your question was Japanese 151 versus Crown Zenith, I think Japanese 151 trumps Crown Zenith. English, Crown Zenith trumps English, in my opinion, 151. It's got more chase cards, it's got more hit. That Galarian Gallery is loaded with a heap of depth. Japanese 151 has more chase cards compared to English 151, so that's how I would rank those three. I'm only probably going to be able to answer 2 more questions, so geez, this might have to break into 3 parts. But next question. Where are we up to? How many booster boxes of a set should you get? This is how I do it personally. Everyone can do it differently. If I don't think it has the principles of being a good investable set, I'll buy 1 ETB and 1 booster box, or in some cases 2 ETBs and 2 booster boxes, because I really want one for my collection, and then 1 on the off chance that that set happens to boom and I got it wrong, because I do get it wrong a lot. But if I think it has the fundamentals of a really strong investable set, I'll keep putting money into it when I can. Like, I'm still buying up some Sword and Shield sets when I can. I'm still buying up Astral Radiance and Fusion Strike and Lost Origin now that it's had a reprint. And if a Chilling Reign booster box happens to come up cheap, I'll try and get it as well. Next question. Cheaper booster box versus dearer booster box, as in Obsidian Flames versus Lost Origin, for argument's sake. Okay, so what's an Obsidian Flames booster box going for here in Australia? About 180 bucks, which is probably 100-ish US, versus Lost Origin, which is somewhere around 240 Australian, which is probably somewhere around 140 US. Are you better off going for the Obsidian Flames booster box because it's a cheaper entry point versus the Lost Origin? My opinion, no. You're better off spending a slight bit more money to get a better set. I suppose there's a limit to that, but definitely in this scenario, that question asked, sort of Obsidian Flames versus Lost Origin, you are much better off spending a little bit extra money to get a Lost Origin booster box, because that is a much stronger set and will perform better over time than Obsidian Flames. Well, I think that's going to have to call us stumps. I think we're probably in 16, 17 minutes now, so we'll pull up stumps for the moment. I'll do part 2. If you feel like you've been missed out, don't stress, because I'm sure the answer to your question will be coming. I'm Michael, this is PokeOz. I'll catch everyone next time.